the first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Shut the up. Please welcome Sandra Bullock.
You know they eat. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're
Yes.
and that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what, yeah.
Has anyone heard from Mel Gibson ever since he tried to expose the industry? Yeah, right. There is a reason why he is laying low. Especially now that even Jim Carrey popped out looking like a different person. The threat is real, y'all. And Mel's old pal, Mark Wahlberg, is actually pretty concerned about him and has tried to reach out to him privately to watch his back. Mind you, both Mel and Mark actually tried to warn us about the secret network that runs in the industry, where a lot of people who want to be actors end up missing. Hell, Mel even went as far as going to the police to give them the names of the exact celebrities who were doing these demonic things. But they completely played in his face, and even snitched on him to the people he came to them to report. No wonder Mark and Mel have been labeled problematic by the media, when the whole time, they were really one of the few good guys left. Now, as we all know, the DOJ shook up the entire world by releasing a staggering 3.5 million pages of the Epstein files on January 30th, 2026. This release opened the gates for the public to get in-depth information about the sick CT machine that had been running in the industry for years. Graphic victim testimonies describe people being snatched up from malls and schools, some of them manipulated with money and fake promises of a modeling and catering career, only to end up getting flown on the Lolita Express to Epstein's Little St. James Island, where they were oiled and forced to please creepy billionaires. Mind you, it has been heavily speculated that the Epstein thing was just the surface level. These networks are still very active. We just don't know about them. Now, these people were SA'd and then blackmailed into silence. The flight logs reveal that Bill Clinton flew to the island 26 times. It also exposed other high-profile people, like Prince Andrew, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. There were also over 2,000 videos and 180,000 images that are too sensitive to be seen. And the shadiest part about all of this is that Epstein died before getting the chance to expose any of his high-profile clients. And conveniently, he supposedly died by S-wording himself. But here's where things get even shadier. Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson tried to open our eyes to the stuff that was going on, all the way back in the 90s, but no one took them seriously. But baby, since the Epstein files dropped, people have been revisiting everything Mark and Mel said, and the things they said still hold up to this day. Maybe if the police had listened to them when they initially spoke up, maybe this stuff would have been uncovered years ago. So during an interview he did back in the day, he went into detail about his early days in Hollywood and how it changed his entire perception of what he thought the industry was prior to getting into it. He claimed that there were a lot of very unusual things happening, and whenever he tried to talk to anyone about it, he was just reminded of how rotten the entire system was. It's like you see something wrong, then someone because you think that person is one of the good guys, only to end up finding out that they are also in on it. Basically, it's either you eventually join them or you become a target. He openly compared what was happening to a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah.
I was in my mid-20s the first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand. Right. And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town. Surely that couldn't be, because And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think, it does rip your life to pieces.
Does it?
If you'll let it.
Yeah.
These little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to like walls in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take very long. It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry dictate. No matter how strong you are, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place. And I think it takes that kind of cockroach resilience. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be f***ed over at some point.
I mean, as a matter of interest, do you think it's easier because you're an outsider who came in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it was glaring to me, because I was an outsider who came in.
Oh, but it gets even worse. During another disturbing interview he did back in 1993, Mel revealed that he actually sat down with the Santa Barbara police amidst the investigations into Michael Jackson and gave names of the actual people in Hollywood who were committing the crimes that they were accusing Michael of. But the police did absolutely nothing about it. They were hell-bent on making Michael take the fall for it. In his own words, "I've told the police. I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information." Does that sound familiar to y'all? This is exactly what they did to Corey Feldman when he also went to them to report the industry creeps. They gaslit the hell out of him, completely ignored the names he gave them, and even when he went on national television to tell the world, they still kept ignoring him. In fact, just like Mel, Corey also said the police only seemed focused on gathering evidence against Michael Jackson. They had their eyes set on him and him only. And guess what? It was the same Santa Barbara police who ignored Mel.
You believe that are being by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
You said, by the way, did not have...
Michael was innocent.
You said you've had death threats.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to Mel, he also revealed that his refusal to comply with the industry was the reason they cut him out and refused to fund his movie, The Passion of Christ. Mel said he felt like the industry was trying to get him to abandon his faith, but he wasn't going for any of that. He stood his ground to fund the movie by himself, and this absolutely pissed them off.
Resistance to that movie.
Oh yeah, no, there was...
Which I thought was very strange. There was like Hollywood resistance to that movie. Like people didn't like that you were making it, it seemed like.
Yeah, there was a lot of opposition to it. And I don't know. I think if you ever hit on that subject matter, you're going to get people going, because...
Of course.
It's a big subject.
It's first of all from secular Hollywood, where for whatever reason, Christianity is the one religion that you're allowed to disparage.
Yeah.
And then he tried to expose these CT networks when he produced his movie Sound of Freedom, a movie he eventually ended up having to fund himself once again because no studio wanted to pick it up for some reason. At the time, we didn't understand why Hollywood was giving him such a hard time, but looking back now, it all makes sense. You see, the movie was exposing the CT rings in the country and how they operate. And of course, these elites didn't like that because Mel was bringing attention to the exact things they've been doing for years. Like in the movie itself, the kids are lured with a contract of modeling, only to end up being victims of CT.
The most disturbing problems in our world today is human, and particularly the. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.
It was actually this movie that finally made Mark Wahlberg also come out to side with Mel. It turns out he also went through a similar experience, leading him to eventually leave the industry altogether. He even moved his entire family to Nevada just to get as far away from the industry as possible. He revealed in an interview that one of the main reasons he related so much to Mel's struggles in the industry is that for the longest time, his faith had also been challenged by the industry. It's almost as if they wanted him to abandon being Christian just so he could fit in, and that didn't sit right with him at all. During an interview on the Today Show, he said, "I don't want to jam it down anybody's throat, but I do not deny my faith. That's an even bigger sin. It's not popular in my industry, but, I cannot deny my faith. I need to share that with people. I have friends from all walks of life and all different types of faiths and religions, so, it's important to respect and honor them as well."
But it doesn't stop there. You see, just like Mel Gibson, he also had to self-finance his own religious movie called Father Stu, because no studio wanted to pick it up. And the few ones who showed any interest at all wanted to change things about the plot. Now, I don't think I need to say this, but for the ones who still don't seem to get it, Mark and Mel are some of the most successful celebrities we have today. If after all these years of being there, they still have to fight not to sell their souls, and even get punished for it, what does that tell you? This industry is deeply rotten from the core, and the release of Epstein was just a little peek into what they've been getting up to. No wonder Mark and Mel are fighting so hard to hold on to their faith, because once they let it go, it's over for them. The question now is, who is next after Epstein? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Diddy already got thrown under the bus, so it's not going to be long before the industry selects their next scapegoat. As usual, people had their thoughts, like this person who said, Roseanne Barr, Mel Gibson, Corey Feldman, all vindicated on the world stage after decades of being subjected to blacklisting persecution. Another person said, people are waiting on the government to serve justice, whilst it's the government greenlighting and pardoning this disgusting behavior. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Mel and Mark exposing the industry? And do you really think the industry is preparing to expose another person? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.